Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the PivotBoss pre-market video for Monday, January 27th, 2025. I am Frank Ochoa, aka PivotBoss. Happy Monday here. This is a quick look at the ES, a big gap down in Sunday night trading here for the ES, and basically the broader market at large. Everything down hard in overnight trading here as news of DeepSeek has taken NVDA down and a ton of AI related stocks, chip stocks, especially DeepSeek, the Chinese AI model here. In news of the efficiency of that model is basically taking the market down at the moment, and it started with a gap down Sunday evening, and a gap down of that magnitude tends to follow through in a big way. And we've seen the follow through throughout the overnight and pre-market trading. Heading into the RTH Open, we've seen a little bit of a bounce here the last 3 hours, but already a 200% of ADR day heading into the RTH Open, 157 points of range. That is a massive range here for these stocks, a big time double top here for this market. And of course, the idea was the stretch that we had seen here recently was very, very aggressive, and the retest up here was going to be especially important. How was the market going to respond with a retest up here? The idea was we could see a rejection that turns us back down towards 6,000 and could move us across the range back to 5,800. Of course, we didn't know what news may bring that type of move, but we did see a big gap down here Sunday evening that has triggered the selling pressure here. Again, NVIDIA going to be leading the market down. It's trading at pre-market prices that we have not seen since October. Bitcoin down, Ethereum down, everything basically down on the futures, and this is something that could trigger additional selling pressure throughout the week. We have a big week this week as well with Fed on deck. We get our Fed rate, interest rate decision and the Fed statement on Wednesday afternoon, and then we also get Wednesday after the bell closes Microsoft, Meta, and Tesla earnings. Thursday we get Apple earnings. Friday we get Amazon earnings. So it's going to be a big week here. That's especially with a lot of volatility that could be backloaded toward the middle end of the week. Early this week already we're seeing heavy selling pressure. Is the low end down here for the day? Is this in for the day? If so, this market here could build some energy here and kind of trade in a range. Keep an eye on 60.25. 60.25 is intraday VWAP, which has been sloping heavily lower. A sell-off of that level here during the RTH trade could send prices back toward that strong pivot low. So again, we'll see how this market develops here heading into the RTH Open, but already a 200% of ADR day, a double top off the recent highs, and more selling pressure could be seen ahead within this 400-point market structure from 6,200 back to 5,800 down below. If we look at the NQ, this one's taking the brunt of the selling pressure here today. This one's 266% of ADR right now. 1,000 points of range. 1,000 points of range before the RTH Open. Again, this one gapping down, NVIDIA gapping down hard. A lot of tech stocks seeing selling pressure, especially on this Chinese AI model. DeepSeek sending ripples through the AI market and perhaps putting a pin in the bubble that could lead to additional selling pressure ahead. We talked about this resistance here last week and how it was very similar to, kind of the ES resistance. Could it turn prices back down within the range? And in one fell swoop, this thing has dropped back to the key range low. Big time high range day, again 266% of ADR. Keep an eye on intraday VWAP. That's 21,250. A retest of that level could send prices back down within the range. So again, very, very heavily bearish here as we head into the RTH Open. And big tech earnings later this week. Microsoft, Meta, Tesla on Wednesday, Apple Thursday, Amazon on Friday. That could be significant later on in the week, especially with Fed on deck on Wednesday. So More selling pressure could be ahead. As of right now, we are within the confines of a clear trading range, 20,500. You got 22,100 basically up here. Do we stay in this range, or do we start to breach the 20,500 and open up additional selling pressure into the previous quarter's low? That's going to be something to keep an eye on. Looking at crude oil, down 0.7% right now, and has seen steady selling pressure over the last week and a half. This market again continues to see lower highs, lower lows, and is giving back a ton of the strength that we have seen since the first trading day of the year. That's the low of the year right there. That's the low of the year, 71.79. We could be looking at a wipeout that takes us all the way back into that level, and a return to that level could lead to a bit of a bounce back up at some point here, but right now very heavily bearish. The downtrend has been very, very clear on multiple time frames here. Strong pivot highs day after day, especially in the 60-minute time frames. Got to get above 75.50 to open up the upside, and right now still seeing selling pressure overall within this downtrend. Looking at gold futures, this one's down about 0.4% right now, but still trending upward overall. Still a very clear upward trend. Failed new lows are still in play. You see failed new low here, 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 and one developing right now as well. That failed new low here developed in the 3 o'clock hour here as prices below the previous low were rejected and a bit of a rally occurred. Prices is off about 10 points off the pre-market highs of 27.76, but as long as price continues to hold above the 27.60 level, we could have some more upside overall within this uptrending move. Looking for this market to continue to stretch toward 2,800 down the road here. Looking at the YM, this one's down, not quite as down as tech. This one's off the lows of the day as well, and 104% of ADR. So you can see while the ES is 200%, while the NQ is 266%, this thing is basically average range right now. 546 points of range for the YM here, as this one has seen a wide-ranging day prior to the RTH open, but not a devastating sell-off like these other markets have seen, and currently trading back above the midpoint of the current day and also above the intraday VWAP. So trading above intraday VWAP at the moment. Now, keep in mind when the RTH open comes online, we may see another round of selling pressure, especially as a gap down in NVDA takes hold. So this market could continue to get hit, especially at the RTH open. Overall, this one fell shy of the previous highs here, but look at the stretch, that aggressive rally here and bounce back, especially after multiple weeks of selling pressure here. That was curious. We mentioned before that at some point we may start to see this thing turn over and drop back down a bit, and if this is the first straw here, we have some more downside that could be seen back toward 43,250 and maybe even back toward the lows of the year here at 42,900. Alright, looking at Bitcoin, this one's down 3.5% right now. Selling pressure here coming into Bitcoin as well. High range day already, 133% of ADR. It is holding and hanging in there a little bit better than some of the tech counterparts here. This thing continues to hold the 90,000 level. The 110 continues to be resistance, and we are holding right at the middle of that range, 100K. So it's a 20,000 point range here. Still an overall upward bias, and currently trading above the midpoint of the day's range, and just pushed through intraday VWAP as well. Again, does this see another round of selling pressure ahead, or is the intraday low in for the day? Even if there's more selling pressure ahead, the 90,000 level has been a big time area of support. Looking at the ETH chart, down 6% here. Down 6%. This one approached 3,000 on the low of the day here. This one's also seen a little bit of a bounce, not quite as bullish as Bitcoin right now. Continues to trade near the key range low, currently above that low by about 20 points at the moment. As we've mentioned before, any prices sub 3,000 into 2800 could continue to be heavily defended for a rotation back up, but at some point here this market needs to push through 3400 with some juice to open up 4000 and maybe beyond. We're still monitoring and following this key range here, which continues to point to a 5200 level. Right now, heavy selling pressure and a bit of a head and shoulder style pattern here that's developed out of ETH. A failure to maintain acceptance above 3000 could open the door back toward 2200 down the road in the worst case scenario here. All right, that is it for now. We'll see how this plays out heading into the rest of the session. Good luck, trade well, and I'll see you in the trading room. Take care.